Hello everyone, Brendan here with the long-awaited finale of the Smash Ultimate Without Turning Around series. This series has been dragged on for long enough in my opinion, so I decided to make this the last one. That only means one thing. We are doing the entirety of the Dark World and the finale in this one video. So, let's jump right into it. While I thought it would be much of the same, considering most of the harder spirits to beat in the Light World are optional, I was mistaken. The Dark World on all three of its sub-areas, being Dracula's Castle, the Sacred Land, and the Mysterious Dimension, take the difficulty knob and turn it to 11. Like the comment suggested, I launched myself at the hardest one first, being the Sacred Land. In the Sacred Land, the player is tasked with finding one character in each corner of the map. These characters are Young Link in the bottom right, Zelda in the bottom left, and Ganondorf at the top. You have the option of going for either of the first two at the start, but Ganondorf is always blocked until you collect both. To add to this insane fetch quest, there are a lot of 3 and 4-star spirit battles that are required to proceed. Personally, I recommend picking up Celebi as well as Calamity Ganon for later use. After you defeat all 3 fighters and add them to the growing roster, as well as the other 2 required fighters being Cloud and Sonic, I grabbed Chrom too because why not? You will be greeted with Ganon's Castle. Ganon's Castle is home to, well, Ganon, and you need to defeat a bunch of super difficult spirits to get there. Once you get there, you can fight Ganon. Now Ganon himself is actually quite a simple boss to take down. Once you notice his patterns, air dodges, spot dodges, and Hero or Cloud are all you need. Real talk, Cloud actually carries the run from here on out. All of his moves are massively powerful, and with the added bonuses of the skill tree and limit break, he kind of just steamrolls everything in his path. Anyways, back on topic, Ganon's patterns are easy to figure out. Actually hitting him though is another story altogether. He always tries to face you, and the only part of his body that takes damage is his tail, which faces away from you. That's it. His health bar is massive as well, so it will definitely take a few hours of banging your head against a wall before finally defeating this menace. He is beatable though, and let us complete this area and never have to return to it again. The next area I decided to take on was Dracula's Castle. Dracula's Castle is almost exclusively home to 2 and 3-star spirits. There are also a lot of fighters tucked away here, strangely. I didn't want to spend too much time in this area with its various puzzles, so I won't talk it up too much here either. Just try to conserve your cannonballs because why not, and look for the unorthodox solutions to proceed forward. Dracula awaits you at the top of the castle, and his boss battle is surprisingly easy. All you gotta do is avoid his attacks and hit his head, and he dies. Then he comes back and he is angry at you. In all seriousness, this boss is pretty difficult when you aren't facing him. He has a lot of attacks that hit behind him as well. He never gets stunned like the hands, Ganon and Galeen, and his health gets a huge upgrade from his humanoid form. He also has a fairly quick electric ball attack that he shoots forward and it sends you very far and directly sideways. Your only hope will be to tech an inch away from the blast zone, but even then you may not live to tell the tale. Just keep trying, and eventually you'll kill him and his dumb, stupid, ugly face. Now, you can move on to the final area of the game, the Mysterious Dimension. This consists of a bunch of fairly easy quiz questions if you know anything about gaming at all, and to select an answer, you defeat the spirit you think is described by the question. The only ones I had trouble with were the ones asking about Chrom's younger sister and the King of Twilight. The answers for these, respectively, are Zant and Lissa, or other way around. The others are pretty easy, but then you get to the spirit fight for Taboo, the original story boss back in Brawl. Taboo's fight is die. You face a giant metal Bayonetta who has super armor and high attack, and you occasionally take 30% of damage for no good reason I can think of. There is, however, a strategy that I found that worked for me. The steps are as follows. First, choose Cloud and spam up B. That's it. I got super lucky finding this strat, but because of it I now respect Cloud's up B a lot more. And I use it a lot more in the run as well. Then you face off against Marx. Marx is the tiny pink puffball that isn't Kirby or Jiggs, and flies around making demonic sounds, with a lot of large attacks that sometimes take up the whole screen. Now tell me, oh viewer, how many tries will it take to beat this unstoppable force?
1 when he's actually the easiest boss in the game.
Now that we have defeated all 3 bosses in the Dark World, the Big Eyeball himself decides to battle us in the center of the Dark World. It's time to settle the score once and for all and release these spirits and fighters from Darkon's control. I usually suggest using a PK Kid in these battles due to their ability to absorb energy-based projectiles, and this helped a lot in Galeem's battle. Darkon, however, only uses physical attacks. Even these tiny little pellets aren't energy attacks as much as they look like them. All I can really say is to use Cloud or Hero, really they're interchangeable at this point, and just swing the sword until you accidentally somehow win. This took a good amount of time, but at long last, Galeem and Darkon have both been vanquished. Ladies and gents, we can finally say that you thought it was over. No, Darkon doesn't die, and apparently Galeem didn't either. No, Darkon just decides to black hole because reasons, and Galeem appears out of nowhere to follow us into the void. We emerge in the finale. Both spirits of light and dark are held captive here with a grand total of 4, count them, 4 required legendary spirits and 4 required characters, being Palutena, Roy, Dark Samus, and Bayonetta, plus a bunch more that serve as roadblocks to easier spirits which are important to acquire. For instance, if you begin by wiping out every dark spirit, the map will shift toward Galeem ever so slightly. The opposite is true as well. Today we are going for the true ending of the World of Light, where an equal amount of spirits from both sides are wiped out, and in the final battle, we do a lot of stuff to say the least. First off, what do you have to do to trigger the true ending? First, you need to release both hands, Master and Crazy, from the control of the 2 big baddies. To do this, you work your way up to either one on the map, your choice, and defeat the fighter in front of them, and the hand itself. Master Hand is the same as when you fought him before, just with a few more attacks mixed into his move pool. In particular, the Fireball Punch attack is a bit confusing, but apparently just spamming air dodge works somehow. Crazy Hand is just a bit more chaotic. He flings fire as well, but he also has seizures, flips you off, shoots lasers, and scoops the ground. In either case though, get grabbed and you're basically gonna die. After defeating each one, the other hand will appear again on the other side of the map. Each locked behind an unfair Pokemon battle where Okos are possible in stamina, somehow, and a legendary spirit. Characters are also required to be beaten and acquired for each hand, and when you beat both in this way, then and only then can you get the true ending. Just don't upset the balance like I did and get as few spirits as you can so you don't have to fight too many people. You do need to beat either Klaus or Hinawa, both of whom are legendaries. Cloud makes Hinawa easy while Hero takes out Klaus pretty quickly. Then, the finale. Buckle up, buckle down, and switch to a high attack party because it's time for the finale. But first, a word from our friendly Master Hand. Spoiler warning inbound. Before the finale, there is a segment in which you can play as Master Hand. I found that when you spam specials, Master Hand never turns around. I found it the most useful to spam down special and move around, catching everyone in the rays of light. It shouldn't take too long, but don't get hit too much and you'll be fine. Now for the grand close of this adventure, the ultimate fight, the final battle, it's just called the final battle within the game. Good job, Nintendo. This stage is unique in that you can choose 3 fighters to take into battle that are in a set order. I, for instance, chose Cloud first, then Lucas, then Hero. Phase 1 has a very long platforming section which is interrupted by copy fighters and by Galeem and Darkon trying to buzzsaw you to death. Be extra super careful not to take too much damage and just focus on getting through the phase. The second, and surprisingly the most difficult phase, consists of a boss rush, requiring you to defeat all 6 bosses we saw earlier in the run without losing all your lives. The order in which you take on these foes is crucial, but if you game over, you get all 3 lives back and you start from the boss rush. I actually found Rathalos to be the hardest to beat this time around, as he flies a lot, has a hitbox on everything he does, and is very fast to attack. Giga Bowser, thank God, is way easier now with buffed spirits. Marks is just Marks. Dracula will probably kill off one of your characters, but other than that, if you have his patterns down, you should have no trouble at all. Gallium is probably the easiest besides Marks, because he telegraphs all of his attacks, and you can air dodge or spot dodge very easily to avoid them. Also, his missiles can be reflected and pocketed. Finally, Phase 3 is made up of a glorious battle in which you take on Galeem and Darkon at the same time. This is, in fact, a free-for-all, and the attacks from each ball hurt the other. When one ball gets stunned, the other will go out of their way to damage them quite a lot, leaving themselves open for attack. The only way for them to perish, however, is for them to take a hit from you, and not knowing this myself, I almost lost the run right at the very end. Once you see these great beings crash into the sea and explode, somehow not killing anyone, we can finally answer the question. Is it possible to be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate without voluntarily turning around? Yes! Though it is a long and frustrating ordeal, it can indeed be done, my friends. Throughout 26 hours of gameplay and less than an F in Smash Bros. Class, we did it. It feels so good to finally be done with a series like this, especially considering how long I've been putting it off for. But I can see my channel having a few challenge run walkthroughs on it. If you have any ideas for challenge runs I should do in the future, please let me know in the comments. I don't think that Smash montage I promised a while back will be coming anytime soon, because I don't really play Smash Online too much anymore, but expect something on my channel, just something. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and thanks even more to those who watched the whole series and stuck it through until the end. This is a long one, I know, but at least I got it out there. Anyways, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.